was going to be pitching was going to dominate today, and it certainly did. I thought Logan was just outstanding. Against a really good lineup, deep lineup, guys teamed a lot of power. No doubt he just, got behind to Schwarber there in the first. Other than that, it was really, really good. Unfortunately, we were teamed up against Wheeler today, and as advertised, he's really good. He's got all the pitches. He's got a different slot, the velo. He can execute. You're still thinking you got a shot, 1-0, you're hanging in there. In games like that, you got to catch a break. I was hoping the ball would get in the sun on Marsh. Somehow he made the play, but then bullpen-wise, we couldn't hold him at bay there at the end. But for me, really good series against a good team. Very competitive. We did a lot of good things offensively the last couple nights. When you look at the matchup coming into today's game, it's going to be a low-scoring game, and you got to figure out a way. And we just weren't able to solve Zach Wheeler. Like a lot of teams can't solve Zach Wheeler. He's really good, one of the best in the National League. So, take any questions.
Scott, what did you see from Logan kind of being able to adjust after that homer? It was on the fastball, but then he gets really aggressively into his secondaries as the game goes on. Well,
that was the game plan today anyway, to get into the secondaries. You're going to have good off-speed pitches against that club. They can hit the fastball. It's the first batter of the game. We often talk about it's hardest for the starting pitchers to settle in that first inning. He got behind, had to get back in the count, and Schwarber's a really good fastball hitter. So, but Logan did execute his plan today. He stayed with it through a lot of sliders, curveballs, had the split going for a little bit. Stuff was outstanding. Just the one blemish there in the first inning.
Scott, with Wheeler, you mentioned it earlier, but what is it the slot that makes the fastball? Because people will say, oh, those are hittable fastballs, but if you look at his numbers, nobody hits his fastball. He throws it all the time.
Yeah, he has an elite fastball. It's much in the same bucket as our young guy Brian Wu. It comes out of a different slot. He's able to sink it, ride it. So even though on the radar gun or whatever it may say it's 94, 95, it's playing up 98, 99 miles an hour. And we talk about it ahead of the game. With our hitters, you really have to be on it and be on top of it because the ride it does have. And he has the secondary pitches to go along with it. Threw a lot of good cutters. Saw the slider come into play. So, again, he's at the top of his game. In those type of games, you got to figure out, create some kind of traffic. We weren't able to put any lengthy innings on him, so it allowed him to get deep in the game. And you need to put pressure on him at some point. A couple innings in the game today, and we weren't able to do that.
Let's go with Sauce. You mentioned he's been struggling of late. How do you weigh his struggles versus the matchup? He's your only lefty in the pen. You always go to the matchup, even if you feel like he's one outing away.
Yeah, you have to see where we were at there. Obviously, Jimmy Garcia, in a tight game today, want to try to keep it there. He threw a lot of pitches last night as well. But the matchup, Sauce was able to get Harper out last night, in a pop-up. It is, outside of Mooney, it's the best matchup on our card. Sauce has thrown a lot for us. He pitched in the games in Boston. He had a couple games here. And he'll continue to pitch for us. He just got to get back into, what he does really well and, the sinker-slider combo and working back and forth off those. And, they got on a slider today. It happens, but Sauce will be okay. It happens throughout the course of a season. You have some ups and downs. You just got to get back into dominating the strike zone. When he gets ahead in the count, then his stuff really plays.
He wore a couple innings for you guys in the Logan short start. I think he helped you out a little bit there, and you used them a lot. The velo was down a little bit more than a few ticks. Is that just because of the usage of late?
Yeah, it happens to guys throughout the course of the season, and you're running up against really good teams with good left-handed hitters. That's kind of his pockets. That's where, he's been able to post and do very well in this league, getting those guys out, and he will again. Just not his series.
You mentioned a great series here for this weekend. So despite the outcome, how do you think that 2 out of 3 against the Phillies shows where this ball club is at as we get deeper here into the season?
Well, we're playing much better now than we were earlier, offensively in particular, outside of today. Over the last week or so, it's been very competitive every day out there. It happens. You run up a good pitcher. You can't let this, hold you back. We got a big series coming up. We got off day tomorrow. You got Detroit coming in there. We need to stay really aggressive offensively, and we'll be just fine. So our guys know that. We'll appreciate the off day tomorrow and get back at it. We got to finish this homestand off really strong. You got Detroit and the Mets coming in there, and we certainly have the capability of doing that.
How absurd was that catch by Robles in center?
Yeah, Vic is doing things on a baseball field with some kind of flair right now. But as soon as the ball went up, I was like, Vic, you're going the wrong way. You could see that ball was coming the other way. And, he made some kind of athletic adjustment to it. Credit to him. He's playing with all kinds of energy and fun, passion. You can throw all kinds of adjectives on it. He's fun to watch. I don't know how he caught that ball. I really don't. And I went and asked him that, and he got skip-headed all the way. Like, stay right there, Vic. Got you right where we need you. So he's been huge for us. And, playing through a few things, couple guys playing through. Cal had a hamstring cramp is what happened there. So he should be okay. Regroup and, like I said, get ready for the Detroit series.
All right. Thanks. We know you don't get the win today, but just individually, how nice was it to be able to bounce back from that outing in Boston?
It's good. I felt good today for sure, but it would have been pretty sweet to finish off the series with a win, get the sweep, especially against that team. They're really good. So, good series getting the win, but it was tough losing today.
It seemed like you were just so deliberate about the secondaries, especially after the homer to Schwarber. Just how important was it to stick to that game plan throughout the outing?
Yeah, that team hits the fastball really well. So, mostly about getting ahead, and then we have more freedom to do what we want. We definitely wanted to spin today, and curve and slider. We saw that work well the last couple games, and kind of reinforced it in a way with first batter falling behind and then having to throw the fastball 2-0 down the middle. So it kind of, in a way, maybe helped me out, stay committed to our plan.
Logan, when you talk about your slider in the Boston start, that you didn't like how it was acting or how it was coming out. Did you do anything in between? Did you look at it and just say, I just executed here, or do you make any tweaks with it?
No, nothing. Same as always. It's just like the times I needed to throw a good one, I threw a bad one. And it's really that simple. And then today I felt like I was consistently going to my spots, being pretty stubborn about where we want to go with it, not deviating from that, low and away, hand out front, all that kind of stuff. Movement-wise, action, velo, all that, it's recently – it's been good all season, I feel like, but even in Boston, it was still, and the system's grading out really well. It's just about execution and getting it where I want it to be.
Could you have, 2 years ago, if we'd have told you you'd have a start where you throw that many sliders and that few fastballs, would you have believed us?
No.
It's like, it's so different to what we first saw.
That's still crossing my mind. I think it's pretty funny, but I'm pretty proud of that, honestly, that I can get to that point that we need to do that. And working with the catchers, them knowing me well enough, having trust in me, I have trust in them where we can go to that and feel like we're not really backed into a corner as much. So there's a lot of freedom with that.
What was that 15-pitch sequence against Castellanos like from your vantage point?
It was fun. It was almost funny after the 14th pitch. I almost started laughing because it was unreal. But he's such a competitor. It's fun at bat. Their whole lineup's fun to pitch against. But when something like that happens, you don't want to give in. It's fun. The fans get into it. That happened with Bryce, I think, too. So that one meant a little more, trying to get the out and not the walk.
Thanks, Luke.